The spirit of the golden pond. Nestled among the lush green hills of Nagaland was the quaint village of Fumro. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, growing rice in terraced fields and tending to their livestock. Life was simple but fulfilling. However, amidst their idyllic lives, there was one place they all feared: a shimmering golden pond hidden deep in the forest, known as Spirit Lake. The pond was unlike any other. Under the sunlight, its waters sparkled like gold, a sight so mesmerizing it seemed otherworldly. Yet no one dared to go near it. The elders told stories of how the pond was protected by a spirit who would curse anyone who disturbed its waters. Many villagers claimed to have seen strange figures near the pond at night, or heard whispers carried on the breeze. Among the villagers was a young boy named Temba. Temba lived with his widowed mother Luma in a small bamboo hut on the edge of the village. Luma was known for her cheerful demeanor, but her health had begun to deteriorate over the years. One summer, she fell gravely ill. Her fever refused to subside, and her strength waned with each passing day. Despite the efforts of the village's herbal healers, nothing seemed to help. The village elder, Ateho, shook his head gravely and said, "The only thing that might save her now is the water from Spirit Lake. But Temba, you know the risks. The spirit of the pond will not let you take its water without a price." Temba listened intently, his heart heavy with worry. The thought of losing his mother was unbearable. Despite the warnings, he resolved to fetch the water. "If the spirit demands a price, I will pay it," he thought. At dawn, Temba set out, carrying a small bamboo flask and a bundle of rice wrapped in banana leaves. The forest was dense and alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. As he ventured deeper, the air grew cooler and an eerie silence settled around him. Temba could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching his every move. It wasn't long before he reached the edge of Spirit Lake. The sight took his breath away. The pond's surface shimmered like molten gold under the morning light. Tall reeds swayed gently along its banks, and a faint, sweet fragrance lingered in the air. For a moment, he hesitated, the stories of the spirit echoing in his mind. But his love for his mother pushed him forward. Temba knelt by the water's edge and dipped the bamboo flask into the pond. As soon as the flask filled, the water seemed to glow faintly, as if infused with a golden light. He stood up, ready to leave, when a soft voice stopped him in his tracks. "Why do you disturb my waters?" Temba turned and saw a figure standing on the opposite bank. It was a woman, but not an ordinary one. Her skin glowed faintly, and her hair flowed like liquid gold. Her eyes were deep and sorrowful, yet piercing, as if they could see into his very soul. She was the spirit of Spirit Lake. Temba's voice trembled as he spoke. "My mother is gravely ill. The elder said only the water from your pond can save her. Please let me take it." The spirit tilted her head, her expression unreadable. "You seek to save a life," she said softly. "But every life saved comes at a cost. Are you willing to pay the price?" Temba nodded without hesitation. "I'll pay whatever you ask." The spirit's eyes darkened. "Very well. In exchange for your mother's life, I will take your voice. You will never speak again. Do you accept?" Temba's heart sank. The thought of losing his voice forever filled him with dread. But the image of his mother, pale and frail, gave him strength. He took a deep breath and nodded. The spirit raised her hand, and a golden light enveloped Temba. He felt a strange sensation in his throat, as if his voice was being gently pulled away. When the light faded, the spirit spoke again. "The water will heal your mother, but remember, you can never share your story, for words will no longer belong to you." Temba bowed deeply in gratitude and turned to leave.
As he walked away, he felt a profound silence within him, a silence that would stay with him for the rest of his life. When Temba returned home, his mother was barely conscious. He quickly poured the golden water into a small cup and helped her drink it. Almost immediately, her breathing steadied and the color returned to her cheeks. By the next morning, she was sitting up, smiling weakly at her son. The villagers were astonished by her miraculous recovery. They gathered around Temba, eager to know how he had obtained the water. But when they asked, he could only gesture and mime, for his voice was gone. His silence puzzled them, but they respected his privacy, attributing the miracle to the mysterious ways of the spirit world.
Temba adapted to his new life, communicating through gestures and expressions. Though he missed speaking, he found solace in his mother's laughter and the knowledge that she was alive because of his sacrifice. Over time, he became a respected figure in the village, known for his kindness and resilience. Years passed, and the story of Temba and the Golden Pond became a cherished tale in Fumro. The villagers often told it to their children, reminding them of the spirit's power and the value of selflessness. Though Temba's voice was gone, his actions spoke louder than words. The Golden Pond remained a place of mystery and reverence, its shimmering waters untouched by human hands. And in the quiet moments by the fire, Temba's mother would look at her son with tears of gratitude, knowing the depth of his love and the price he had paid for her life. Even today, the story of Temba and the spirit of the Golden Pond is told in the villages of Nagaland, a tale of sacrifice, love, and the enduring bond between a mother and her child.